Hello everyone. Welcome back to 999/Zero Escape. We left off on a bit of a cliffhanger because I went on vacation. It hasn't really been a break for you, but it's been a break for me, and we're hopping right back into some craziness. So went over it all before, but yeah, I've been waiting for the ace reveal for a minute because I definitely expected there was some stuff going on with you. Definitely didn't expect the stuff with Clover as much as I expected the stuff with you, but based off of what she's going through, I guess it makes some sense. So, alrighty, Ace, let's continue to let you have your little moment here. 1.
このノナリーゲームにおいて Q がオールマイティな存在になることはさっきも言った通りだ。そんな都合のいい存在を生かしておいてはいずれ脅威にもなりかねない。そこで私は奴を序盤の段階で排除しておくことにしたのだ。そして同じくさっきも言った通り、私はそれが手に入ればこのゲームを有利に展開することができるからだ。そのためには奴に死んでもらわなければならなかった。これが2つ目の理由になる。さらに番号云々を抜きにしても、私にとってあの男の存在は邪魔者以外の何者でもなかった。
Yeah, since he knows who you are.
あの男は私の過去、9年前の出来事を知っているからだ。
Okay, so yeah, my hypothesis that I had before about that being the 4 members of Cradle, that definitely checks out. I mean, we don't know that's for sure the case with the body that the Zero bracelet is on, but I'm assuming that's it.
そのことを他の者たちに告げられる前に早めに始末しておく必要があった。最後の動機はテストのためだ。このノナリーゲームが本気なのか単なる悪ふざけなのか、私はそれを確かめたいと思った。そこで奴がルール違反を犯すように仕向け、その結果を見ることにしたのだ。
Junpei glared at him. I always find it funny when a character that has this particular length of hair kind of becomes evil. It always gets this like kind of slicked back look because I guess your hair is kind of like that before, but maybe it's more pronounced to me now because of the, wild evil expression on your face. The other example I can think of this is like, a character in SMT, obviously Virgil from Devil May Cry, the like slicked back evil look.
3番目の動機だけ。よく一体9年前に何があったって言うんだ。
Okay, so yeah, Junpei doesn't know the specifics of this.
だから言っただろう。ノナリーゲームが行われたんだよ。私が企画して行わせたんだ。
なぜ？目的は何だ？
さあな、そこまで教えてやる義務はない。
Honestly, props to him for being able to hold it down in this situation. With the way my brain works, if, like, I was holding somebody up like this and also trying to sort through my thoughts and have a conversation with someone, that person that I was holding could absolutely just punch me or steal the gun and get away from me. Super easy, because my brain would be very distracted. Ace smirked. He was trying to provoke them and it was working. Although Ace had paid very little attention to Lotus after catching her, the gun had never wavered from her temple. She looked quite pale, and when she spoke, her voice shook.
ねえ、何なのよ、この銃は。一体いつの間にこんなものを。
Unfortunately, we're gonna have to explain that, but I wonder if we're gonna get some more stuff about Nona. Like, maybe Ace will talk about Nona?
サンタ教えてやってくれ。
Santa ground his teeth and glared at Ace.
6の扉の先。あの貨物室の棺の中にあった銃だな。
It is interesting Santa being like kinda quote unquote on our side right now, considering the other route we took, it was Santa pulling the gun on us and being in this position.
俺たちが目を離してる隙にこっそりと抜き取ったんだろう。
Yeah, I'm still like, see, as soon as a gun is on the table, like Junpei said, I would have been watching that shit like a hawk to make sure nobody could grab it. You know, like, I would have had all of us staring at the gun the entire time we're in the room and just back walk out of it.
その通り、うかつだったな。
Yeah, huge mistake, I would say.
置いていくなんて言い出さなければよかったもの。
Ace laughed, a short, derisive snort, and gave Junpei a sickeningly pitying look.
さて、時間がない。そろそろ私は失礼させてもらうことにするよ。
どこに行くつもりですか？
決まってるだろう。わからないのかい。
Yeah, the reason that you need her. You have the zero bracelet, so you're gonna go through? I have to assume that's it. Unless it's 1, 8... No, 9 and 9, 18. That still works. Never mind, yeah. So this is what you were talking about with the 9th man's bracelet and why it's so important. You don't even actually need the 0 one, because you have the 9th one. Which is even better than Clover's whole idea. Because yeah, as long as you have 9, it works with whoever.
私は9番のバングルを持っている。そして今、ヤシロの体を手に入れた。
確か礼拝堂みたいな場所に9の扉があったとかなんとかって言ってたな。そこに向かうつもりか。
ああ、よく知ってるな。
さっき四つ葉を捜索してる時に聞いたんだよ、サンタから。
なるほどね。まあ、とにかくそういうわけだから、君たちとはここでお別れだ。あった、さっき言ったこと忘れるなよ。少しでも動けば、私は迷わず引き金を引く。いいな。
Well, that just means you're probably going to kill her when you get there, just cuz. Kind of like how Clover did to us. Realizing that she didn't actually need us to open it, so she just killed us too. As he spoke, Ace began backing towards the door, practically dragging Lotus behind him.
このままじゃ逃げられるぞ。
だが、奴は本気だ。
Junpei, Santa, Jun, and Seven stood, frozen. Ace had the face of a man gone mad. They had no doubt he would pull the trigger. Ace had reached the
さあ、
exit.
ヤシロ、私に代わって扉を開けてもらおうか。
He forced Lotus to open it and then turned and addressed them once more.
それじゃあな。
Then he stepped through the door. It fell shut. In the blink of an eye, they were gone. Well, now what are we going to do, gang?
くそ。
As soon as Ace and Lotus were gone, Junpei and the others leapt for the door in pursuit of Ace. But as Junpei laid his hand on the doorknob, there was a noise behind him. He looked over his shoulder. Jun was kneeling on the floor, breathing heavily. Is this happening again? Does this just get happen, like, when you get panicked? Or something?
おい、どうしたんだ紫。しっかりしろ。
Because you mentioned that you're hot, and it's happened a few different instances, and I imagine it's, like, you know, maybe you have, like, a panic attack or you get overstimulated or something. Not maybe overstimulated, but more just stressed. Santa ran to Jun and wrapped his arm around her before she could collapse all the way.
すっごい熱じゃないか。大丈夫か。
Jun's fever had returned again for no apparent reason. Her eyes were watery and her eyelids drooped. Her breath came in dry, shallow
大丈夫で
gasps.
す。私なら大丈夫。それよりもヤシロさんを。
She was breathing hard now, and she could barely summon the strength to talk.
でも。
Junpei was torn. He couldn't leave Jun alone in the state she was in. But every moment they waited, Ace was farther away. Lotus's life is in his hands. What was Junpei supposed to do? Jun's eyes drifted to Junpei as she managed to muster a weak smile.
私のことなら気にしないでください。ちょっと休めばきっと良くなると思います。ほら、 さっきだって、その前だって、そうだったでしょ。だから、お願い、ヤシロさんを、彼女を、助けてあげて。
I don't really know how I'm going to do that. I'm going to be honest. Like, even if I catch up to him, like, what are we going to do? It's just going to be the exact same situation that we were just in, except I won't have backup.
あの一味のことだ。おそらく用済みになったら、ヤシロのことを。
Yeah, that's what I said. He's definitely not going to let her walk.
くそ順平セブン先に行っててくれ紫が回復したらすぐに後を追うだから
I don't entirely trust Santa here, but his whole plan that he was doing before doesn't really work unless he has... What was it? He needed Lotus and Ace, right? Yeah. So he needs both of them to make it work. Or he needs the bracelet that, that Ace has. So... He needs 9 or he needs both of them. So I guess, yeah, he's probably not going to try to pull anything crazy here. He can't really. Junpei looked at June. She nodded once. She couldn't manage much more. But it was all the confirmation Junpei needed. His resolve was set.
分かった行こうセブン一名の後を追うんだ
おう、了解だ。
サンタ紫のこと頼んだぞああ
Santa nodded. Junpei turned before he had a chance to change his mind and started running toward the door. He could hear Seven's heavy footsteps behind him.
それじゃ行こう
Junpei and Seven exploded into the hallway, their feet pounding the metal floor as they ran. Yeah, we are sprinting. This is risky, and I quite frankly don't really know our plan here, but we need to try something, I suppose. Here we are. Are we just gonna find out that they already left? Junpei and Seven had finally arrived at the church, exhausted and out of breath. As their lungs struggled to catch their breath, their eyes frantically scanned the room.
一味とヤシロは
見当たらないな
先に進んじまったのか。
He reached up to wipe a palm full of sweat from his brow. Even as he spoke, Junpei was already on his way to the larger of the number 9 doors.
レッドを確認するぞ
Display panel read vacant. He spun around and headed towards the smaller door. Red would tell him if Ace and Lotus had moved to another room. Yup.
室中
Okay. This is interesting because, yeah, now it's like... I mean, we can't do anything. We need 3 people. Because we don't have a spare bracelet. Because it's me and 7, so that would be 12. We would need... Wait. 12, so we would need... 6? So we would need... Yeah, we would need June.
つまり一味とヤシロはこっちの扉から入ってったってことかい。
So we can't do anything. I wonder why Ace specifically chose this door. We haven't actually seen anything about this door yet. They would... Like, Santa went through the other one.
らしいな
Junpei and 7 stepped away from the door. They retreated to the center of the room and began to talk.
どうするよ。
どうするも何もあっちのでかい方の9の扉は確かに残ってるだが
二人じゃどうにもならねえしな。
そうだ第一俺たちの数字根は9じゃないし
Just then, as they were pondering what to do next... The coffin... There was a noise. A noise like someone hitting a thick wooden
なん
panel.
だ何の音だ
It's the coffin, yeah. Junpei looked up surprised. 7 followed suit, his eyes jumping around the room looking for the source of the sound. Hey, running out of air in this coffin over here. Could you help me?
あの辺りから聞こえてきてるな。
Like, I mentioned the idea that it could be 7, or not 7, Snake before. I'm not so sure it's Snake now. Like, that was my idea because it made so much sense on the other path that if Snake was in there and we got Snake out, we would be able to go through the door with him. But if that's the case and he is Zero, who in the world put him in the coffin? How did he get locked in there? So he can't be Zero, I don't think. Because that would be weird for him to intentionally put himself in there. Like, the idea that Snake was working with Zero makes sense, but it wasn't long before they found the altar. Or more precisely, what was on it.
棺
Well, we still don't know how to get in here.
だな。
開けてみよう。
どうやって？
力ずくで。
無理だろ、どう考えても。
Yeah, that's not gonna work.
試してみなきゃわからないだろ。成功の唯一の条件は99の失敗に対して恐れぬ勇気を持つことだ。
どれの言葉だよ。
忘れた。
I forget.
いいから、とにかく試してみようぜ。
Junpei and Seven leapt at the coffin. They grabbed hold of what purchase they could find and pulled.
くそー。
ほらな、やっぱりダメだろ。そう簡単に開くんだったら、こんなもんついてるわけがねえんだよ。
Seven pointed at a keypad on the side of the
ここに番号を
coffin.
入力しないと開かない。そういうことか。
The noise hadn't stopped. I was thinking for a second. I was like, "Oh my god, are you somehow like doing Morse code at us to let us know the thing through the door, or just hitting the number of times that like that's the first number that like 1 2 3 4 like that, you know? But there's no way of knowing if you know the code to open it or whatever. But I don't know. That's where my mind went for like a second. In fact, as it continued, it had only gotten louder and more forceful. What are they supposed to do? Junpei
何か
wondered.
手がかりになるようなものはないのか。
Yeah, I think this is just another ending now. They stood there for a few moments staring at the coffin, and then Seven spoke.
なあ、順平。
Okay, wait, no, maybe this is different. I thought it was just going to do the same exact thing as the, like, it was going to be 2 coffin endings, basically. And we have to find out the secret of the coffin to continue down both of those paths,
お
but...
前、一等船室のバスルームの前で、妙な数字をつぶやいてたよな。
Weird numbers over by the bathroom in the first class cabin,
あれっ
huh?
て、四つ葉が持ってた暗号文を解いたもんだろ。
Oh, yeah.
真実は去り、とかなんとかっていう。
Yeah, the numbers that I,
あ
yeah.
あ、そうだが、それが
I guess that's, yeah. But wasn't that the combination to the safe? I mean, I guess it could maybe be the combination to this too.
もしかしたらその数字が、この装置の暗証番号になってるんじゃねえか。
いや、セブン、それはありえないよ。あの数字は、クローゼットの中にあった金庫を解錠するためのものだったんだ。
I mean, it's not impossible. It could also be like, oh, switch them around in some way and then that gives you the answer
だ
too.
が、あの金庫も、この棺も、用意したのは同じ人物。ゼロだろ。
ああ、おそらくな。
だったら、同じ暗証番号を設定してるかもしれねえじゃねえか。
そんなバカな。
念のため、試してみたらどうだ。
Yeah, exactly. I mean, why not just give it a shot rather than sit here and second guess?
無駄だよ。同じなわけない。
なんで言い切れんだよ。やってみなきゃわかんねえだろうが。
Yeah, it'd just be a waste of time. You were just trying to pull it apart. Like, come on, Junpei.
成功の唯一の条件は、99の失敗に対して恐れぬ勇気を持つことだ。
誰の言葉だ。
お前の言葉だよ。
Yeah.
わかったよ。
He knelt down in front of the keypad and looked at it. Perhaps because he'd repeated them so many times before, the numbers came easily to Junpei's mind.
1383421。
God, I can't believe you remembered that. Quickly, he typed them in. He checked that he'd entered the right numbers, took a deep breath, and pressed the E button. Honestly, I've never seen a, like, thing that requires that many characters before. At least in games. Usually it's like four, maybe 5 things you have to put in. It only took a moment. Wow.
マジかよ。
See, aren't you happy you listened to 7 and just gave it a shot? Like, I don't understand why you were so insistent about not doing it. It would only take like 2 seconds. And you were like, it's a waste of time. There was a click. And with a heavy clunk, the lid of the coffin slid off onto the floor, and now we get Vincent Valentine in the party. Someone sat up from inside. Oh my god! It was Snake! I was right! Cool. I mean, like I said, it made a ton of sense that it would be. What's this sick fit you got going on? Are you in a cult? I think it's a cult thing.
お前、どうして？
ああ、その声は、淳平くんとセブンだね。
I'm honestly kind of shocked too. I mean, maybe the coffin. You know, I don't really know the specifics of coffins and stuff. You were banging on it, and that's how we noticed you. I wonder if you were screaming or trying to get our attention that way or say something, but we couldn't really make that out. But the banging is easier to make out. Because, yeah, I mean, it would have been muffled. I don't know how soundproof this coffin is, but...
他のみんなは、ここにはいないのかい？
Of course, there was no reason Snake would have known about where anyone else would be. Junpei and Seven looked at each other. There was a great deal he needed to know, but... I hope this isn't the route where things kind of... I mean, there's clearly something I can do on the other route with Clover to save her too and get out of here with everyone. Because things were going pretty okay in the Clover route until everything popped off with Santa, so... If we can just get Snake out of the coffin, which now we know the password in this route, but we have to somehow get that password in the other route too. And unfortunately, getting the password kind of necessitated Clover dying, basically, because that's how we got the hint about it, and I don't even know where she got that information. So... I mean, I mentioned that it's wild that Clover even had access to the information, etc., but I wonder if this is a situation where there are people doing the same thing in parallel to us, and Clover got that information from the other group because she was specifically placed in peril? Because we've talked about the morphogenic frequencies before, and I'm trying to think about ways that would come up, and we haven't talked about the possibility of there being an exact other group of people doing the nunnery games somewhere else right now, and we're supposed to make something happen with that? I don't know. I'm trying to see a way that that fits in, but that feels too simple almost, but I don't know. They had to tell him something, however, so they began to talk. Snake explained to them how he came to be locked in the coffin. Apparently he'd been hit with some sort of knockout gas, and Junpei and Seven explained what had happened to the rest of them.
なるほど。大体理解したよ。他には特に大きなことはなかったんだよね。
Yeah, I still don't know why you're in this cultist outfit. I mean, I guess they had to give you something since that other jerk jacked your clothes, but... there was one thing they kept from him. There was one thing, however, that neither Seven nor Junpei could bring themselves to say. That Ace had killed Clover. They feared that the Snake knew he might well go insane. Oh, like I understand why they are, but that feels like a rough thing to keep from him, because if he finds out and knows that we knew, that'll be rough. They decided as much by a look the moment Snake had climbed out of the coffin.
しかし、ニルスが閉じ込められた経緯を聞いても、未だに謎が残るな。
ああ、特にゼロの正体とその意図が全く不明のままだ。
I mean, I think we can extrapolate from what we heard from Ace's case that this is probably some sort of revenge / payback. Well, also from the note that we read in the safe, this is definitely revenge / payback against Cradle. That doesn't explain why we're here, and you know, but it explains why Ace and the Ninth Man were here for sure.
なんだってゼロはシャワー室の男にニルスの服を着せたりしたんだ。
Like I said, we've already kind of been over this. It seems like Zero intentionally wanted to trick Ace into killing one of his own. Like like Zero basically wants the Cradle employees to kill each other, which seemingly they succeeded with. We don't know about the dude that was that had the Zero bracelet, but
9年前に行われたというノナリーゲームと何か関係があるのか。
Yes, I would say it is. Am I forgetting how much information Seven and the rest of the group got? Because, no, like, it wasn't just Junpei that read the note, because Junpei was talking about the note with Ace in there. Like, I don't know, maybe I'm jumping into conclusions or remembering wrong, but it feels like that makes sense about why this is happening. Like, it's... Like, there's more to it than just revenge, of course, but...
なあ、ニルス。何か知らないか？
Junpei put the question to Snake. His answer was less than illuminating.
さあ、何のことだい？僕にはよくわからないな。
Oh? Seemed as though Snake was perhaps not being entirely honest, but that knowledge did Junpei and Seven little good. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense to me. Because, yeah, you know about all the other stuff. Ace already let us know that the reason he wanted to get rid of you in the first place was because you knew about the events before.
なあ、いいから教えてくれよ。もういいだろ？
そんなことを言われても、知らないものは知らないからね。
No matter how many times they asked, he insisted that he knew nothing. It was becoming clear that Snake wouldn't give in, and every second they spent asking him was a second
まずいな。
wasted.
タイムリミットはもう間もなくだろう。
一刻も早く一宮の後を追わないといけないってのに。
However, they stood in silence, the overpowering atmosphere of the chapel almost stifling. Junpei, Seven, and Snake simply stood, at a loss for what they should do
一体
next.
どうすればいいんだ？
I mean, we can't go in there while it's engaged, and we don't even know if this links up to there, so... He glanced over at Snake's wrist. Sure enough, he could see the tube on the bracelet on Snake's wrist.
今ここにいる3人では、数字根は9にはならないね。
Yeah, this doesn't work.
ああ、こうだな。
That's why we potentially have to go back and get Santa and June, and then we can do something here,
つま
but...
り、この3人では先には進めないということになるが。
そういや。
Oh? Seven began patting his pockets as if he were checking to see if any of them held
Nanda.
anything.
どうしたんだい？
いや、実はあることを思い出してな。
Oh my god, the zero bracelet would not help us here.
あることって？
Oh, you took Clover's bracelet. You said you were going to take something from her, and I remember at the time I was like, is it her bracelet? I remember mentioning that, and I remember mentioning how weird it was that we weren't talking about the bracelet on her body at all. But yeah, that's super what you have. You have the bracelet. Yeah.
これだよ。
He'd finally found the pocket he wanted, and his hand dove into it. Seven pulled out something round and metal. Or the zero bracelet. How does that help us? I thought you grabbed Clover's. I thought that's where this was going. Because that would make so much sense. If we have 5, 4 would... Oh, wait, no, that wouldn't work. Never mind. I was just adding 4 to 5. So... Let's see. So, 7... Me... It's 12, 14... 4 would still put us at 18, which would be 9. Is this Clover's bracelet and she somehow, like, changed the number? There was no mistaking the number glowing at them from the face of, like, a cartoon eye.
ゼロ。バングル。
なんだって？セブンは今、ゼロのバングルを持ってるっていうのか？
I really thought it was going to be Clover's bracelet. That would make so much sense. I don't remember. Did they say, like, did somebody else take Clover's bracelet? Like, I don't remember them ever even mentioning anything about Clover's bracelet, but I might be forgetting.
ああ。
そんなもの、一体どこで？
Snake's question was innocent enough, but if he learned the truth, if he'd been able to see, he would have noticed Seven look away. Oh, that's what... Okay, wow, that was cool. Okay, interesting.
四つ葉からもらったんだ。
Wait, Snake's question was innocent enough, but if he'd learned the truth, if he'd been able to see, he would have noticed Seven look away. Oh. Wait, okay. Wait a second. I thought what they were doing was Seven was saying he had the zero bracelet and Junpei was playing along when actually it was Clover's bracelet, so they didn't have to reveal that Clover's dead to him. I thought that's what it was doing, and it was visually doing that, which would have been cool. But now I'm confused again.
四つ葉からどういう経緯で？
四つ葉はこのバングルを A デッキにある1の扉の先船長室の中で見つけたらしいんだ。
I mean, that's true. That's where she would have found it.
かさばるから持っててくれってそう頼まれてな。
嘘だ。
Okay, there we go, yeah.
また嘘。
Junpei could tell right away that Seven wasn't telling the
そも
truth.
そもあいつはこう言っていた。
中はまだ見てねえ。現場保存は捜査の鉄則だからな。と言いつつ実は一つだけ拝借させてもらったものもあったりするんだが。
多分それはニルスに四つ葉のことを悟らせないためのものだ。
Yeah, that's like I mentioned. I'm just confused about it being the Zero bracelet and not her bracelet, but that, once again, that might be him trying to lie.
というわけで順平、留守番の方よろしく頼むぞ。
7 plus 2 plus 0. Oh. Okay. Wow. Yeah. My brain definitely didn't go that way. Yeah. That makes sense. It was right in front of my face. That's totally clear. But I was so hung up on the Clover bracelet thing. I'm still shocked that her bracelet hadn't come up, but maybe there was some reason why. Like, I mean, besides Seven saying he didn't want to disturb the crime scene or they saw it as disrespectful to take the bracelet off of her, that's the only thing I could get. But you took the Zero bracelet off of her, so...
なんてな、冗談だよ。だが、このゼロのバングルがレッドに認識されるかどうかは一応調べておきたい。
Okay, yeah, I was getting wrong ideas about some things there, and it was making me look stupid, but I do that often enough, it's fine.
ちょっと手を貸してくれ。
Without waiting for a response, he started walking toward the door. Junpei and Snake followed him quietly. Before long, they found themselves in front of the larger of the two doors. Seven and Snake put their palms on the red. Once they'd done that, Seven put the number 0 bracelet on the scanner as well. Third asterisk appeared on the screen. 7 plus 2 plus 0 equals 9. Now they just needed to pull the lever and the door would open.
なんでだ。
Oh! Error!
3つ目のアスタリスクは灯ったから。
Oh, that's weird.
ゼロのバングルが認識されてないってことはなさそうだが。
ゼロじゃないのかもしれないよ。
Maybe it isn't actually 0.
なんだって？
そのバングルに割り振られてる数字はゼロじゃないのかもしれない。
Oh. So it's like a visual lie.
そう言ってるんだ。別の組み合わせで試してみたらどうかな。そうすればそのバングルの本当の数字がわかるかも。
Interesting. The idea that the bracelet isn't actually a 0.
わかった。
Junpei nodded. They decided to use the following combination. So Snake, Junpei plus the bracelet. So 7. This would be 7. And that would make it where it's has to be 11? No. 10, yeah, 17, 18, yeah, that would have to be 11. That would mean the bracelet would be 11. I was thinking it means the bracelet is 10. But no, that doesn't work. Junpei and 7. So that's 12 plus the bracelet. We would need 6 to make that work, and it being 6 seems odd. Unless my hypothesis about June being 0 is correct. Snake plus Junpei plus 7 plus the bracelet. Which would be 7 plus 7, 14. Plus the bracelet would be 4. Which would mean Clover would be 0. I feel like this is tied to, like, this is basically revealing the identity of who Zero is, effectively. So I have to think about it from the perspective of, like, whose number makes the most sense to be the one of us that is Zero, and both June and Clover make sense, although I feel like Clover would have been really young. I mean, clearly she remembers the events, but June makes more sense to me, potentially. I'm probably overthinking this, but let's go with this one.
俺、セブン、謎のバングルでやってみよ
Junpei, yep. 5 plus 7 equals 12. 1 plus 2 equals 3.
う。この組み合わせで9の扉が開いたら、謎のバングルには6が割り振られていることになるわけだ。
Which would be June's. They scanned in their bracelets. Okay, I was right. I don't know what significance that has.
開いた。
I don't know what significance that has. I don't know if my hypothesis about June being 0 is true, because like I said, she's always seemed like she's way more important to the plot than just like, oh, it's your love interest that's really, really into you and stuff. Like, you know, she's kind of just been there as someone for Junpei to protect a lot of the time, and for it to be the one person Junpei knows, but it would be interesting and be cool if June was 7, or was 0. But like I said, I don't know if that's actually the significance of what it's going for or not. But the first one didn't make a lot of sense because it would have been 11, which would have been stupid. And the last one, I didn't see Clover as being like 0. That didn't seem as correct to me, especially since, you know, she died. So that would have been wild. Put herself in her own game and she just gets murdered by Ace. So June made the most sense, I felt, but alright, we're done there for now. So hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you next time for some more.